Hello and welcome to NFL American Football. I'm Nicky Horn and we've reached week 14 of the regular season. Today we travel to the Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles as the Denver Broncos come up against the hometown Raiders in a good old-fashioned AFC West showdown. This is a key divisional battle between two of the three leading contenders for the title. The Broncos top the division on 7-6, while the Raiders are still very much alive, one game behind. Dan Reeves is the most successful head coach in Bronco history, and today he faces his former offensive coordinator, Mike Shanahan, now head coach of the Raiders. The Raiders are 1st and 10 at the Bronco 39-yard line. Here's Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen.
11 minutes left in the first quarter, no score. The Raiders at the 39-yard line with another first down. This is Steve Smith. He had a couple of touchdowns at Denver in the comeback win at Mile High Stadium. He's to the 36-yard line. The former Nittany Lion from Penn State, Greg Cragen and Rick Dennison collaborated on the stop.
Dick, the main variable in this game, as you look at it, there are a lot of predictables in the game. The main variable has to be Schrader. Schrader has come in now after sitting down, after having a chance to digest quite a bit of this offense, but we still don't know how he's going to do against this Denver defense. They throw a lot of looks at you. They had 23 different defenses on 1st and 10, for example, in the last 4 weeks alone. His problem today, recognition and ignition of that offense. He has to get it going.
Shanahan said he is the key not only today to the rest of the Raiders season. His throw to the sidelines is complete to Tim Brown, who's wrapped up immediately at the 30-yard line by Mark Haynes, and that'll be close to another first down, perhaps a yard shy.
Tim Brown has really come on strong, has tremendous maturity as a rookie. A lot of rookies really have a difficult time with the discipline of the passing game. Not so Tim Brown, and I think had the quarterback situation been settled here in Los Angeles, you'd probably see a lot more receptions in that reception column for this young rookie.
Brown to the right, Lofton to the left, Marcus Allen, the solo running back, as the Raiders use two tight ends. The Raiders' first possession has driven them deep now into Denver territory, and now Schrader goes for it all. Could be intercepted, but it was out of bounds. Castile covering Lofton. Incomplete.
One of the dangers that Schrader will face today is that in Shanahan's offensive plan, the receivers must read the defense and must make sight reactions to the defensive play. If they're seeing one defense and he's seeing another, that ball may well find its way into the hands of the defense.
Here in the Los Angeles Coliseum, Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. The Los Angeles Raiders on their first possession have marched to a 2nd and 9 at the Denver 19. Quarterback draw and lone play, and Ruin Jones is right on Schrader to drop him for a loss. There's Jones from Utah State. He has been wrapped throughout the league and was during the week here in Los Angeles for his failure against the run.
What they're trying to do is to get this man to move to the outside, which they do, and just drop back and then come right up the middle. Let's see what happens to the play. Schrader gets what he wants in the sense that the nose tackle moves out, but it's a stunt on the other side, and Rulon Jones stunted right into the middle of that play. Otherwise, it would have gone for yardage.
That's that mobile, small defense of Joel Collier. You can't always count on players being where you expect them to be, and that proved to be a winner for Rulon Jones. 3rd down, big play, and it's caught at the 10 and into the 9-yard line. Is Marcus Allen, the bread and butter back of the Raiders, and that's going to be very close. Let's see where they spot the ball.
A very live and strong arm. In fact, two of the strongest arms in football on the field today. And Schrader has been throwing with a great deal more authority in the last 2 weeks. His tentativeness from earlier in the season has been replaced with a confidence, I think, an understanding of the system, and you see it right there. Receiver is open and the ball is on the way.
You could see Schrader, who for 4 years played minor league baseball with that gun. He was a catcher, and he hits just enough to Allen for a 1st and goal. Jackson, look at him squeak through. He was stopped cold at the 10-yard line and just burrowed his way for 6 yards to the 4. Michael Brooks was the last man to touch him, and Jackson almost running on his knees for a score.
The definition of second effort. Look at the hole close, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Jackson, who refused to go down, just kept his feet moving and found the opening.
There's Bo Jackson, who finished his Kansas City Royals season with 25 homers and 27 stolen bases. First 25-25 man in Kansas City history. Second and goal. It is Jackson again for a touchdown. Here's a replay, the first score in the Coliseum as the Raiders take a 6-0 lead on the determined running of Bo Jackson.
We pick it up following a Los Angeles punt. Denver are 1st and 10 on their own 28-yard line.
7-0 Raiders. Sammy Winder, true to his last name, winds his way to the 33, but a flag is down as Lyndon King scores the tackle.
You see a little emotional breakout down there. One of the things that's missing from both of these defenses is big play capability. They're just not getting the big plays from either the Bronco defense or the Raider defense.
Holding, 60 offense, still first down.
Gerald Perry, the rookie from Southern, the giant 305-pounder, who's in there with all the injuries, picks up the hold, and there's Jones.
Pad on the right hand, torn ligament, probably will not be back in the ball game. They are really getting banged up. Jariga, we saw go out for shoulder x-rays, has not returned. Now the pass rushing specialist, Willin Jones, out of the ball game.
The physical punishment, the nature of this grand game of football taking its toll now that we're in December. The draw play to Winder, and the Raiders, almost as if they knew that was coming, allow 3 or 4 yards. So 90 Wise, 70 Davis in on the tackle.
Predictability and a lack of speed in that Denver backfield make it a little bit easier to cope with them defensively. Watch how the play opens up. There's a hole there briefly, but only briefly. And if you're not there to take advantage of it, that's what happens. Suddenly you've got a whole stack of Raider bodies there. And it really has haunted Denver, their lack of speed and their lack of a lead blocker, a big blocker out of that backfield.
Under 3 minutes left in the first half, and it's 2nd and 16 for Denver, trailing 7-0. And it's the shovel pass to Sewell, and a great read by the Raiders, number 93, Greg Townsend. Now, Townsend with a sack, and he's been on top of Elway in this first half, and he stayed at home there. They were trying to get him to rush in on Elway, and he did not.
That's such a hard play to read. They want him to come upfield. And Keith Bishop had a chance to come over and block him, but what they have to do is believe that that defensive end is going to take himself upfield and out of the play. And Townsend, who's seen enough of that play to recognize it, made the good instinctive reaction and shut it down. All pro play on that particular situation.
3rd and 14 for Elway. Going deep for Natil, intercepted by the Raiders. Ron Fellows, his 2nd of the year, the former Cowboy. It was intended for Natil. So the Raiders, with 2 minutes and a second remaining in the half, get the ball back at their own 48.
You get a little bit of a feeling for what John Elway is looking at as he locks on the right-hand side, and in spite of the fact that there's excellent coverage on the teal over there, unloaded the football anyway. Eddie Anderson, the second man over, and you've got 2 defenders, and that's excellent position by Fellows, who is right there camped on the pattern. And Elway, who made a lot of bad throws early in the season, has not thrown nearly as many bad passes late in the year, but that was an ugly interception.
And it's 2nd and 3 for the Raiders and Schrader at the 45 of Denver. To Smith, wide open, 35-30. One man to beat Harden. And Harden does not get him. Touchdown, Steve Smith. 42 yards was the combination. Schrader to Smith at Denver. 45 yards this time. Chris Barr adds the extra point, and the Raiders double their advantage to 14-0. And Steve Smith has 4 touchdown receptions, 3 of those against Denver.
There are a lot of folks here in Los Angeles who feel that this man should be playing a lot more football than he's playing. He's the best blocker in that Raider backfield, and you see here the kind of speed that he has. A good receiver, good ball carrier. He's going to get a lot more playing time in the future, but he is somebody that can hurt you defensively.
Just before the end of the second quarter, Rich Carlis missed a 53-yard field goal for Denver. So the score at the break remained 14-0 LA.
Zulke vlekken vragen om een sterk wasmiddel. Maar zo'n wasmiddel is meestal agressief. Met vernieuwde Dash 3 is dat probleem nu opgelost. Een gewoon wasmiddel is hard voor uw was. Maar Dash 3 pakt het vel hard aan en de natuurlijke mineralen houden de vezel soepel. Dus blijven je kleren voelbaar in topvorm. Vernieuw de Dash 3 met natuurlijke mineralen. Hard tegen vuil en zacht voor uw was.
Those human zooms, back and forth they go, trying to get just the pictures they want. Don't they know that Pentax now has a zoom for everyone? The Pentax Zoom 70S and now the Mini Zoom 60, both with a motorized zoom lens. So you can get this, this, and everything in between. To get the pictures you want, get a Pentax Zoom, because now there's a zoom for everyone. Time of the world. What's the time? Different time. Anytime. Downtown time. Now's the time. Benetton by Buller.
Wednesday at 7:30, action-packed adventure with Lefkas Man.
He wasn't much of a father, but I've got to try and find out what happened to him.
I'm afraid we're dealing with a sick mind.
What are we smuggling? I don't think you're in any position to be choosy.
A dangerous journey with high stakes and a powerful enemy.
Betrayal?
I'm trying to be friendly.
Stop your friendship. I'm trying to find out the truth.
Lefkas Man, Wednesday at 7:30 on Sky. Thursday on Sky, Emergency.
It's getting positively dangerous being a fireman lately. Watch it.
You somehow have the notion that you can treat a man better in the back of an ambulance than we can here.
All right, let's move.
George wasn't kidding about being thirsty.
What's the problem?
The minute I turned my back, he drank his IV bottle.
Action and drama.
When was the last time you risked your life for a patient? Now they do it with some regularity.
Emergency, Thursday, 7:30 on Sky. Saturday on Police Story.
Hey, ZZ. ZZ Smith.
Hey, girl! How are you?
An undercover policeman makes a grisly discovery.
So we have a psycho who likes to pick up tall, red-headed prostitutes, mutilate them, dismember them, and leave their remains on the beach. She's a nice kid. She was a hooker.
Police Story, Saturday at 9:30 on Sky.
We rejoin at the top of the second half. The Broncos, with plenty to do, are trying to get something going on offense. The Raiders are 1st and 10, and here's Dick Enberg.
Elway play action and guns it complete to the 33-yard line underneath. It goes to Mark Jackson. And the young man from Purdue is college quarterback Jim Everett, the fine young talent with the Los Angeles Rams, who make their home now down in Anaheim. That was his college mate, and Jackson gives Denver a first down. This is their deepest penetration down to the 34-yard line. They might have made it to the 33 that first half. I believe this is the deepest they've gotten, trailing 14-0. Jackson in motion, Elway on the roll, throws to the tight end, and it's Kay who has another first down at the 22-yard line. And this has been as solid a drive, short as it may have been, as Dorsett gets a handoff in a little running room, and the number 2 rusher in NFL history behind Walter Payton picks up 4 yards before Millen and Fellows makes the stop.
Raider defense, Dick, excuse me, putting some real hits on. That's Matt Millen. And this Raider defense has kind of lost its identity, except for Millen, who maintains that intimidator philosophy. But they do not have the reputation around the league that they once had of being the kind of team you just didn't want to play against because they would hurt you. But Matt Millen will still do it. You saw it there.
He's the throwback to the Alzado and the Matuzak.
Yeah. Jack Tatum to
2nd and 6, and too tall the throw intended for Vance Johnson. Elway on the scramble and driven down at the 11-yard line. That'll be close.
I think maybe a measurable down as the yard markers all the way on the other side of the field. They're going to bring it all the way across to measure it. And Reeves may have an interesting decision here. I don't know that you're in a situation where you can afford to go for the automatic field goal here. Not with a kicker who's missed 5 in a row, 6 in a row now.
And let's see if Elway
first down.
Yes, he did.
Yes, barely. Less than half of the football. Let me correct what I said. Carlos does not get credit for a miss here today. He never got a chance to kick. Elway taking it on himself. And this is exactly what he did last week. And you see him head first. Reeves would rather see him slide feet first. But John said simply, you got to do what you got to do. I'm an athlete first, a football player first, and a quarterback second. And if I got to go head first, if I got to dive over the pile, that's what I'll do.
And he's over 200 yards rushing this year. He's been the top rushing AFC quarterback the last 5 years. And has it a first down at the Raider 11-yard line. It's Dorsett picking his way down to the 8-yard line. But it isn't the Tony Dorsett that was a thrilling Heisman winner at the University of Pittsburgh and so many years a star with the Dallas Cowboys and rushing and receiving for over 16,000 yards. There just isn't that spurting excitement, that explosion, right?
You measure a running back's skills by the number of people he makes miss and then the amount of yardage that he makes after people hit him. And Tony Dorsett's so good at finding those openings, exploding through them, and making people miss. He does not have that kind of breakaway burst speed anymore.
2nd down. Intercepted by Greg Townsend, and that's the defensive end outrunning Elway, and Townsend has his 3rd career touchdown. Oh my!
Back-to-back weeks. Townsend will have a touchdown. He got one last week, when Piquel forced a fumble off the sack on Craig in Seattle. But this is all his and a lineman's dream. And he shows you some of that speed that we talked about earlier in the ball game. He carries it all the way to the end of the field. You almost need a gas station down there, an oxygen tank to gas up. But boy, I'll tell you, that puts the Broncos even further in the hole, an opportunity to get some points, and they go the other way.
Well, adds the extra point, an 85-yard touchdown run with the interception for Townsend. A Los Angeles high school product. He went to Compton High School. He's in the right place at the right time as the receiver falls, and Townsend makes the catch, and off he goes down the home stretch.
The Raiders were unable to add any more points on their next possession, allowing the reliable bare foot of Bronco kicker Rich Carlis to bring Denver back into the game. First he made a 29-yard field goal, and then he hit a 36-yarder to reduce the deficit to 15 points. With the score now standing at 21-6 to LA, the Raiders proceeded to turn it over. Bo Jackson, number 34, fumbling the ball, which was recovered alertly for the Broncos by number 49, Dennis Smith. The momentum is gradually shifting as the Broncos strive to get back in it. We rejoin following the fumble. Denver have a 1st and 10 at the Raiders' 47-yard line.
And Elway works from the shotgun with 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. As a man open, it's Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett steps out of bounds inside the 40. And a little bit of wrestling going on. Mike Wise, a defensive lineman of the Raiders, engaged, I believe, a 54, Keith Bishop.
Bishop going to have a hard time fighting with that cast on that hand of his.
Dorsett, meanwhile, with a reception today. He's not been used much as a pass receiver. He had 397 career receptions coming in, I believe. I know that's his second. Is that his third for Dorsett? I guess they took one away on a penalty. So that's only his first officially. 398 in his career. Unusual formation, and then the fake on the draw. And Elway, lots of time, throws underneath to Winder, hit immediately by Lyndon King, the former San Diego Charger. Short yardage, a gain of 3.
Well, you're going to have to keep Townsend out of there. That's one way. Take him in a circle. Rick Kay getting a swat for his action. And Townsend saying, hey, come on, you got to see that. These offenses, very sophisticated, getting their hands inside. And I'll tell you, with everybody holding, you just don't get them all called.
Winder trying to find room. There is none. He's to the 35-yard line, and Lyndon King again there to smother the play with lots of help. So 3rd down for Denver. And the Broncos have played this entire third quarter in the Raiders' half of the field, and yet have but 2 field goals to show for it. Other teams around the NFL know of this Raider defense, including the high-scoring 49ers, who managed only a field goal as the Raiders beat them 9-3. Elway drills the ball to Jackson, hit at the 27-yard line. Russell Carter, that'll be shy of the first down, 9 yards on the play. 3rd down and 2 for Elway. In trouble, a flag down, the ball up for grabs, and it falls incomplete. But there was holding on Townsend. They almost tackled Townsend trying to get to Elway. Elway gets up slowly and
very slowly. Comes up very slowly. Has some ribs that are sore from last week's game against the Rams. Lanier, absolutely a necktie tackle, and it's Piquel, number 71, that takes Elway down, and I'm sure that's
76 offense, still 3rd down.
Those ribs, even though Elway wears a flak jacket, those ribs are still sore from last week. He is a tough, I'll tell you, he is a tough competitor, but I've got to believe that Elway and this whole Bronco team are suffering from 2 very long and exhausting seasons. And it's apparent if you look at the emotional level of this team, it's just very difficult for them to sustain through this year.
You're talking about the 2 Super Bowl years?
I'm talking about their 2 Super Bowl years, those extra months, and then the losses, and that painful experience at the end of those Super Bowls of having to live with that loss through the whole off season.
Raiders taking the penalty, so 3rd and long, and what a throw to Jackson. Oh, and he's toppled by Russell Carter as Elway threading it to the courageous little wide receiver Jackson, a 180-pounder.
And as good a play as this is, and it's an excellent play, it's Elway's arm. He's throwing right through the defense. Look at that, 2 defenders, 1 on each side, and right between the linebackers. Not quite as tight as I thought it was, but Elway has tried to beat the defenses with his arm. He tried that earlier in the year and got himself in a lot of trouble.
Just the reverse of the first quarter, where the Raiders had all the first downs and the Broncos couldn't get any. It's a first down now. Elway again has a man open as Vance Johnson stops the clock as he goes out of bounds at the 14-yard line. 38 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Well, it was the greatest comeback in NFL history when a road team, the Raiders, overcame a 24-0 deficit. No road team had ever come from that far behind to win. Well, it is 21-0 here in Los Angeles in the 3rd quarter against Reeves. And now he's got it to 21-6, and Denver trying to get a touchdown here that could make things interesting in the 4th quarter.
Turnovers were the key to that comeback. Elway's going to do it himself.
Sneak for a first down to the 6-yard line. So that had to be an automatic. Elway saw no linebacker there and goes straight ahead for good yardage. 1st and goal. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter.
See Elway just sliding right up in behind his center on that play. Plenty of yardage for the first down. Got it down to the 7. 1st and goal. Need the payoff here. 3 points don't help you.
8 seconds, 7 seconds left. Might be the final play of the 3rd quarter as Sammy Winder trying to get outside. Cannot. Bumped out of bounds with 1 second left in the period. Stacy Turan.
I shouldn't say 3 points don't help. 3 points would help. It would take it inside 2 touchdowns. But what you really need here is a touchdown. And then you've got to get 1 more TD, and then you can look for the field goal on the last go-round. So that if you are running out of time, you don't have to punch it all the way into the end zone. Of course, the Raider defense has other plans right now.
Ball spotted at the 6-yard line. 2nd and goal. Dan Reeves, winningest coach in Denver history, now in his 8th year, just 44. He has aged, though, this season.
Been a tough season for him.
Elway throwing for his tight end. Touchdown, Clarence Kay. Boy, there's a lot of Denver fans here.
They're finally getting a touchdown to cheer about. Elway's first of the day. Goes the big tight end. The concentration on the wide receivers. Elway finds the open man and the matchup that pleases him, and that's to the tight end K.
After that Denver score, the Raiders have possession at the top of the 4th quarter. Jay Schrader is still at the controls, and they have a 2nd and 9 at their own 31-yard line.
Jackson again, and Bowe runs through a couple of tacklers to the 35. That's all.
Maybe
they're trying to steal it. Did they get it? Dennis Smith came up with it. We had the whistle sounded. We'll soon find out.
It looks like they got the football, and it's simply a question of when the whistle blew down there. The officials trying to sort things out.
And you have to appreciate that the Broncos, who have had trouble bringing Bo Jackson down, and certainly Jackson the kind of runner you don't want to blow the whistle too soon. And in this case, they say the whistle had sounded.
Art Dumas, the umpire, I think right in there in the middle of that, trying to separate some of these players as they're trying to strip that football away. There it goes. Of course, that's the kind of thing that
Denver calls a timeout, and Reeves says, no, don't spend it here. Why? Well,
with 13:44, what in the world are we doing?